Hello, this is Jesus, and I'm going to be talking today about AngularJS as part of the team activity. And this is one of the technologies I've been interested in with, but I haven't been able to use. So, AngularJS, what is the purpose of Angular? According to Angular and some other resources, Angular is a JavaScript based framework designed to work with HTML to extend its capabilities to present dynamic content. Is a front-end technology designed to build crude applications. It is an open source framework to create single web applications under the MV Start design pattern. So, in other words, is a front end technology just to give dynamic capabilities to HTML and build crude applications. So, what are some of its strengths and weaknesses for Angular? One of the strengths that I was able to find on the internet was that it has a huge community, has become a very popular framework. It's a JS framework that has gotten big, and there's has gotten some strength there. And so it has a lot of resources we can go and look at. A lot of questions about Angular have been answered in forums like Stack Overflow, and there's a lot of tutorials over YouTube, and there's a lot of blogs and resources that we can go and look at. One of the strengths that I was able to find, it's two-way data binding on the Angular framework. Two-way data binding, it's a big thing, and this pretty much means that whenever something changes on the UI, is reflected on um, the model label of the MV star um, pattern, and vice versa. If something changes on the model, is reflected on the UI. So dependency injection. This is more about how the properties of classes are handled, and I was not able to understand it all the way, but it seems that it's just the ability to give classes and some other functions to be able to consume some of the dependencies instead of hard coding them. So dependencies are consumed by the functions instead of hard coding it. Easy to test the code. According to Google, this is one of the purposes that it was built to be able to construct a unit testing and be able to give developers the ability to test their code. And well, it is good for extending HTML capabilities by the use of directives. Directives are some kind of way that you can actually tell the browser some of the functionality that you want to add. Directives like the ones predefined by the framework that starts with ng give the ability to not only present HTML, static HTML, but also dynamic content. Now, some of the weaknesses for Angular. Most of the stuff that I was able to find, it's that Angular is a big and complicated with multiple ways to do things. Sometimes it's hard to tell which one is the best way to do things. The life cycle of Angular can be complex. Angular implementation scale poorly, and one of the things that I was able to learn during my research is that there are some other frameworks that work well for big applications like Ember, according to some of the resources that I was able to look at. And so one other disadvantage of Angular that sometimes the UI when using big applications can become slow doing a comparative with Ember. It said that Ember can do better in terms of responsiveness for the UI. What are some of the limitations and areas where it should not be applied? Talking about Angular and the documentation in by Google, they say that games and UI editors are example of applications that they don't recommend using Angular for those type of things because they say they have an intensive and tricky DOM manipulation. So those are not suited for Angular. Angular was mainly created for crude type of applications. And how does it compare positively or integrates with some of the technologies that we've been seeing? Well, Angular JS, I think, since it is a front end technology and does very well with the presentation of data, it's complements very good with PHP and Java and PHP being really good at handling backend stuff. So I've done a little research, and since that when there's some data sent through web services, Angular is very good at presenting that data and making it easy. So it would be a very good complement to work with PHP as the backend language and Angular as the front end, or Java as the backend and Angular to the front end um, language. So at the end, Angular is a technology that it's becoming very popular and very useful. And here are some of the resources I was looking at. So if you're interested in looking at some of those, feel free to do it. Thanks for watching.